Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Blank to Bank Fishing. Today I'm reviewing the Ridgemonkey VRH150X head torch. So you decide you're going to go on your first trip night fishing, and then it dawns on you that there's a few bits of kit that are absolutely essential to be able to do nights fishing. I know I've certainly been caught out on this before, but if you haven't got a head torch, you're in trouble. Lakes are very dark at night, you know, they're not often in places where there's lights around and stuff like that, and you suddenly realise how dark the world is when there's not lights and street lights and stuff like that. You need a head torch for nighttime carp fishing, or any type of fishing even. So when you're on the market and you're looking around and you're thinking, I need to get something half decent, you can obviously go to places like Go Outdoors and these kind of camping shops and that, and you will be able to pick up decent head torches there. However, if you're looking for one that's kind of more aimed at carp fishing and fishing in general, as opposed to just like a generic head torch, you're probably going to pay a bit of the usual carp tax. However, if that doesn't put you off and you're still after a top quality product that's been developed for your kind of sport in mind, then the Ridgemonkey might just be the head torch for you. So when you buy the Ridgemonkey VRH150X, it's worth noting that this is newly released. The VRH150 was the previous model, however there is now the X, which is only a few pound more. There are two models available. There is the 150X and the 300X. The higher the number, so the 300 is basically the bigger brother to this, and it basically lasts longer, so it has a longer battery amongst other things, but that's kind of the main difference. I'm not going to go too much into that one today. There's plenty of videos on it today and I haven't tested that one myself, so this is just going to be on the 150 to make you aware of that. Now, I haven't been paid or given anything free to do this video. This is just my honest opinion. That's what I like to do with these sorts of videos. So with this one, you're going to be spending roughly around the £40 mark, okay, which is quite a lot for a head torch in my personal opinion. But this is probably that more premium end. But again, it's like anything, you get what you pay for. So if you're just looking for something cheap and cheerful, that's fine. and this will be more kind of the top end. So if you're looking for something that will last that little bit longer, or certainly should last that little bit longer. Now with this head torch, when you buy it, it will come in this box. So that's what you want to be looking out for in the shops. You can see there's some guy stood on like some mountain doing some epic kind of stand there. Yeah, brilliant, lovely bit of box work there really, and you can see it's there. So as I said, this is the X model, and I'll tell you about that difference in a second. So that's basically what it looks like. There's obviously some instructions on the back there. Now basically what this torch has is different strengths as well. Okay, so you get out of the box and there he is. So one of the main differences of this to the 300 as well is the 300 is a lot more squared off. This is rounded, which I kind of like the aesthetics of that a bit more personally. Yeah, hang on, just looking at it like there on the screen, it looks a bit like I can't think of the film, but there's like a robot that goes round, and it's also a bit to me like Johnny Five. If you're from that kind of era, Johnny Five is alive. Yeah, almost looks like he's like a little body there. But it just looks pretty cool actually, looking at it like that. But basically, one of the main things of this is it's button to turn on the top here. It's also got the exact same on the bottom there. So if you get that bite in the night, and like me, you kind of always dazed, and you know you suddenly don't know where you are, and you're trying to find it and grab it and all that, and you put it on your head, and then you've got it upside down, you can't do it. It doesn't matter with this one. So it doesn't matter if you put it on upside down, because both ways you can turn it on with the same button both sides. So you know, if that was that way, it doesn't matter. That way, it doesn't matter. Which is really nice little feature there. Headband is really easy to adjust. It's just your usual bit there, and it's pretty comfy. I wouldn't have any comments with that at all. Very easy to adjust. Doesn't look massive on your head. I have a fairly small head, but it doesn't look like I've got some telescope on my head or anything. So if looks bother you, I suggest probably not with head torches. But yeah, it works really well in that aspect as well. Just trying to see what else we've got on there. So it's got the usual kind of Ridgemonkey logo on both sides as well. And so as I said, these buttons, that's how you turn it on. So you basically you press it once. So basically it has a memory. So we'll go to the last one that you had on. So at the moment, so the last one I put it on, so this one here, this green light, so that is basically what is the difference with the X compared to the previous versions they did, the VRH150. So the difference with the X is this. So this basically uses 1% of battery life. And the point of this is you basically can leave that on. So you have that in your bivvy, you put it wherever, so that when you wake up and you're stunned and you don't know what's going on, it's easy to find, it's not blinding, you pick it up and you're in the game, you know where it is. So that's whether you're leaving on a boat, doing whatever, you're straight on it. You can see it's not too bright. You can press it again and that changes how bright it is. You can see that's much brighter, and again even brighter. Green is a colour that's really good for kind of night work, because you don't get that visual issue where if you have something really bright then you look up and you know it doesn't look right. I can't remember the term for it, but that's to prevent that. And you can just keep going through that cycle. So again, it go back onto that 1% mode. So I'm definitely going to be kind of always using that as a way, because I'm a nightmare for waking up, like I can't find anything when I get a take. So that 1% mode there is really good. If you want to then swap that onto your normal white light, so you basically would double tap and that go onto there. So again, you've got different settings. So that's that one. And I'm purposely trying not to point this at the camera because I don't want to blind anyone, but then you got the next one there, and then this one. So they were your wide ones, kind of lighting up around you so you can see what you are. Then this one here, the smaller round one, off the Johnny 5 head, that's kind of your narrow beam, so that's stronger and goes that distance. And that again you just press it and you go back onto that one. If I wanted to go onto green, I would double press and it'd go back onto green, to that 1% mode. You can press it again, go up, again go up to there. And then if you want to turn it off, you just hold it down for a few seconds, and it's off. What you notice in the middle there, see them lights? they've just gone off. So that's your battery, so that's how you know how much battery there is, and each one of them represents 25%. So that means it's nice and easy to know how much battery you've got left on there. So going by the kind of stats on the box as well, so when you're in that normal wide beam mode, it's basically 30 lumens. The next one up is 70 lumens, and then when you're in that narrow beam mode where maybe there's certain distance you were trying to focus on that and get, you know, while you're trying to cast out something, that's 160 lumens, so real powerful, gets out there. Obviously the 300 goes higher than that. I think it goes up to 200 lumens, so even stronger, but obviously that's a bit more expensive. I believe it's about 57 pound or so, so quite expensive, certainly top of the range with that one. Now to charge it, there's basically a small USB charging point there, you can see there. And you basically literally just plug it in, and obviously you can charge it off your power packs or whatever. It takes about 3 to 3.5 hours to charge, to give you an idea with that. Now it is IP64 water and dust resistant, to give you an idea with that side of it. I've seen videos suggesting that these are kind of properly waterproof, certainly the 300, that they've dropped it in rivers and things like that, and they did a video of it dropping in a bucket and they apparently float in that. I haven't tried all that, and I certainly wouldn't just be wanting to try that and then risk breaking it myself, as I'm certainly not made of money. But yeah, apparently that's what they do. If you're looking for a kind of a cheaper one, I have done a review before of a Sun Blesser head torch that's good and has various different color lights, and I'll put a link for that above, so you can check that one out if you want to, if you're in the market for head torches. But if you're looking for a kind of more known brand such as Ridgemonkey, I can certainly recommend this one as being a really good one to get. You would be able to change the strap on that if you so needed to, because there's slight little marks on there, so you'd better get it out, but I'd imagine that should, unless you're stretching it ridiculously, that should last the duration. It's got a real nice feel to it as well. That's something you will notice when you get it out of the box. It doesn't feel cheap. It's got not too heavy, but it's got a tiny little bit of weight to it, so it doesn't feel kind of tacky or anything. It's almost a little bit rubbery, so that won't be, it's not going to be slippery. You know, if you end up with wet hands or whatever and you're trying to move it and grab it, so it gives you a bit of a idea on there. I think the main kind of thing that sold this for me was that green nightlight mode. The fact I can, you know, put that on, I haven't got to worry about the battery going flat or anything like that, because it uses so little, and just being able to find it at night, so that was kind of the final thing that sold it for me, really. One thing I would say about this is, when I first got this out of the box, I went to get it out and I felt like I hadn't really touched anything, and the light was come on. Where both the buttons are there, and they are sensitive buttons, so obviously we got them there and underneath, both do the same thing, but you might have an issue where you turn them on a bit, but what I would say with that is, unless you're going for weeks on end, the batteries are good on them, so they're probably going to last. My kind of technique to counteract that is I'm always going to leave it in that 1% mode, so even if I do accidentally leave it on, it's going to use that minimal amount of battery, so I should be okay. It's certainly worth getting a little case for that though, I'd say, because you want to keep it nice. You don't get any case in the box, it doesn't come with anything like that, so that's something to bear in mind. Ridgemonkey did, I say, because I couldn't find any online, make like a Gorilla Tech boxes, so that you can get little boxes to put these in. I saw people commenting about their previous ones and they had them in various boxes, but some people were saying like them boxes were a bit too tight, so they were still turning on, so I would aim to get like the next size up, if that makes sense. It's got a bit of room, and I'll probably put some other little bits and bobs like a torch in there with it, just to try and alleviate an issue of turning them lights on. However, as I said, I'm going to leave it in that 1% mode, just in case that if it does turn on, because of the memory built in, it will go to that 1% mode, so that should counteract that problem. Overall, I'm really pleased with this. It's a good bit of kit. You can see mine's still pretty new here. I haven't used it much, so it's still you know, in good nick, but I envisage this will last. I'll probably do like an update video in a year's time or so, but just from the kind of initial use, it's really good. And certainly what I did like is with this bit, when I was saying earlier about how if you put it on, I mean, you put it on upside down, what I've had before is with like a cheap one I was using before, it only tilt one way, whereas this you can tilt up and down, so regardless of what way you put that on, that will tilt where you want it to go. It's worth noting that in the box that also comes with a USB charger, so you can see there it's usual USB there, and one of, hang on, try to cover my face, one of these as well. So it does come with that, so you have everything you need to charge it. You know, it's not battery operated or anything. Obviously the only issue you could have with that is if you desperately needed it at night and it was dead, you wouldn't just be able to stick another pair of batteries in, so that's something to think about. But I personally prefer rechargeable things. As long as you're kind of fairly prepared in advance, you should be okay. If you have one of these head torches, please let us know in the comments below. Likewise, if you have any questions about this, please comment below and I will always get back to you and answer whatever questions I can. Obviously, I'm no expert by any means. I'm just a fisherman just like you, but I always do my best to answer questions that people do have on any products I review. If you did enjoy this review, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps getting it off the ground. I'm really pleased with how the channel's progressed over the last year, which I couldn't have done without any of you guys watching, so I do really appreciate that. And I hope on your next trip you avoid the blank and get some fish on the bank.